You know, race is a hot topic in our country every day, and all you have to do is read the headlines to see how divided race relations are now. And in his new book, What Truth Sounds Like, Michael Eric Dyson says remembering a chapter from America's past can provide some hope for the future. He joins us right now at the table. Please welcome Professor Michael Eric Dyson.
So, Professor, Rick Santorum, senator, he was a senator. I don't know what he's doing right now. He works on CNN now. He said that race relations got worse under Obama. Would you speak to that, please?
My God. You know, the late, great Gore Vidal said that we live in the United States of amnesia.
That's right.
This guy is taking that drug. But Barbara Streisand said, what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So he's on that Barbara Streisand tip. I know it ain't Taylor Swift, but learn, kids. So the reality is that we're living in a country that is so addicted. We got a guy who gets up every morning and excretes the feces of his moral depravity into a nation he has turned into a psychic commode.
Oh, my God.
That's what he's done. And he is the bigot in chief and a racist in residence. And his inability to acknowledge the fact that there are differences between people who argue against racism and people who are for it. And people get confused. They say, well, all of you black people, you're racist too. Let me tell you the difference between a racist and a bigot.
Explain it.
A bigot, Howard Thurman said, is a person who makes an idol of his commitments or her commitments. All of us can be bigots. We have our own prejudice, our pet peeves. But racism...
Give us an example of a bigot.
Well, I don't like tall people. I don't like short people. I don't like people with polka dots. I don't like...
can't drive.
Right. Folk who can't drive. Or, you know, a particular racial identity, right? But racism presumes that you have the power to relegate my life to a living hell, that you have the legal apparatus to make me vulnerable and to oppress me, to enslave me, to have Jim Crow, to have white water fountains and black water fountains. Black people have a lot of things, prejudice and bigotry, but racism presumes a kind of systemic power that they have access to reinforce others' lives as living hell.
Okay, got it?
Thank you.
All right. So I have one more question. Kanye West has been a hot topic at this table many times, and you have a relationship with him. I understand that you spoke to him after his comments on slavery. He said slavery was a choice.
Yeah. Well, he's
now, is that a bigoted remark or is that racist?
That's an ignorant remark. Okay? Right? That's an ignorant remark. And let me tell you, the thing is, I love Kanye West. I talked to him after the fiasco, and I talked to his wife, Kim. Here's the thing, and he admits now that his mental illness led him to say that slavery was a choice. But you know what? There are other historians who have said so. There are other bigots who have said so. There are other racists who have said so.
Yes.
And again, let's look at this. You know, we talk about Trump as if he's the invention of post-truth. No, we've been post-truth since 1619, when we brought 20 people here from Africa and turned them into slaves. What we call progress, Native people call genocide. What we call the Confederate flag and celebrating heritage, we call hate. So we've been arguing about the facts from the very beginning, but we live in a country that is addicted to the inability to remember. Now, they love history when it's about Thomas Jefferson. They love history when it's about Abraham Lincoln. When it comes to race, can't you people get over it? Now, I'm confused here. You go and reenact the Civil War every time you get a chance, but when we talk about women who have been victimized by American democracy, when we talk about people of color, when we talk about Mexicans who have been mistreated, all of a sudden, let's get over it. No, let's not get over it. Let's get through it, and the only way we can get through it is to get to it.
And what about Kim? Because we've had Kim Kardashian on the show. She seems, is she being helpful to him in this time?
Yeah, I mean, just moderating the influence is just beautiful. Go to Wyoming, Kanye, and chill out a little bit, right? I get that. But the thing is that Kim didn't realize until she had an interracial child, a biracial child, that racism still persisted.
Did she say that?
Well, she said it, yeah. You can read it. She said it. But here's the problem. Kanye celebrates being a college dropout. I hate to be a snob. I'm a professor at Georgetown University. Read a book and go to college. Study hard. You got to do that. And even if you can't go to college, at least have systematic approach to knowledge. Learn things. Twitter has messed us up. Facebook has messed us up. Instagram has messed us up. This is not instant knowledge. People hit me up and say, hey, Dyson, can you explain the history? I said, read my book. I got 20 of them. I'm not going to explain to you on Instagram what happened. And then when you wrestle with that, when you come to grips with that, then come back to me and we can engage in some serious analysis and knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Professor,
You say in your new book, quote, the belief that the Democratic Party relentlessly exploits black support while neglecting black interests is compelling and legitimate. Right. So we saw the number of black voters drop in the 2016 election. What do you think is going to happen in the midterms?
Well, I think, look, Donald Trump is a wake-up call for all of us, right? And even those people, look, I argued with black people who told me there was no difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Slow down with that, Mace, you're killing them. There's a huge difference, right? And people say, well, Hillary Clinton wasn't likable. She ain't trying to be your girlfriend. She got a man. She's trying to run the nation. She has more knowledge in her little finger than this man has in his entire body. And on top of that, she also possessed the kind of integrity. We were doubtful of her. Look at this mendacious, relentlessly lying, bigoted, ill-informed person that we have. He is the fleshly thesaurus of white supremacy reduced to one body. So, yes, the Democratic Party has been problematic, but it ain't enough to drive me to people who not only ignore me, but who don't understand. The Republicans don't understand they have an inbuilt advantage. Black people are morally conservative, even if they're politically progressive. They go to church, they read the Ten Commandments. If Republicans weren't so racist, they could encourage black people who are morally conservative to be on their side. I'm always arguing against black people in church about homophobia, about the place of women, but I know that there are some deeply rooted conservative values that need to be taken advantage of if Republicans weren't so bigoted and weren't so racist.
All Republicans are bigoted?
Not all of them, but enough of them to make a difference, enough of them who don't speak up. Where are the Republicans when unarmed black people are assaulted by police? I want white folk to speak up. That's not just a black problem. That's not a female problem. That's an American problem. Speak up in this thing.
Obviously, you know, I'm a Republican.
Absolutely.
I don't believe
absolutely
all Republicans are racist. I actually think that kind of blanketing is dangerous.
That's why I said they're not.
Good. Okay, but I would like to know midterms.
Right.
It fascinates me. Let me just ask a simple question, because I don't completely understand how President Trump got more of the black vote than my father or Mitt Romney.
Yeah, that's
what
crazy.
Shifted. And what can unshift back to midterms?
Yeah, 13% of black men voted for Donald Trump. Yes. Part of that is patriarchy and sexism. Black men, too, believe it or not, believe some of the same, cooked over values of patriarchy, too. But 54% of eligible white women voted for Trump, too. Yes. That's the big mystery. What's up, Lucy? You got some explaining to do. So I want to know why white women, a man who said he could grab it, and don't blame hip-hop. We don't grab it. We seduce it. We ask for it. We seek affirmative permission, right? And that's what we do.
He's like a preacher.
We're going.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We got to go.
And so I just want to say, you got to come back. It wasn't enough time. You just got to keep doing his new book, What Truth Sounds Like. RFK, James Baldwin, and our unfinished conversation about race in America is available tomorrow. And members of our studio audience, you know what? You're going to be informed before everybody else because you're going on with it.
87% own party approval, the second highest of any president at the 500-day mark since World War II. Only Bush after 9/11 had a higher in-party approval rating. So what's fascinating to me is the politics of this are permeating everywhere else except within the Republican Party.
Why? Yeah. Why?
I think right now we're also looking at the lowest record unemployment rate since 3.8% in May. Black unemployment rate fell to a new record low as well. So I think there's so many Americans that are there's just this cacophony of information, and it's hard for even me to follow, which I am open and frank about on this show. And I think people are just like, well, if something happens, maybe. But 87% own party, I mean, that's almost a statistical anomaly. And going forward, it's hard for me to even imagine. We are the party of Trump completely, and it's hard for me to imagine what an election looks like still defending this when the majority of voters don't
care. And why is it hard to follow grab him by the genitalia? Why is it hard to follow the insult against your father? Why is it hard to follow the fact that he attacked Gold Star families?
Because they're winning.
It's not that hard to follow.
Because they are winning. That's what it's not just hard to follow. They get it.
Approval.
They know what's going on.
Within the Republican Party.
Within the Republican Party.
It's not that it's hard to follow. Let's get that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not all of America. It's within the Republican Party.
With the investigation, and I could possibly pardon myself. And again, okay, what crime are you talking about? We're sitting here being like, collusion is not a crime. Like, what exactly are you talking about? And I think Giuliani, to a point, I don't think he's a great surrogate, but clearly, we were talking about it this morning, you guys do, because he's sort of like shifting the blame in this way where nobody's really understanding what's going on.
And the issue.
His example he used was the idea of shooting Comey if Trump were to shoot Comey, and that's the language of a dictator. Like, I will
shoot my... Tell the whole thing.
Sorry. He said that Giuliani said Trump could even shoot James Comey Comey in the Oval Office and still not be prosecuted.
That is not
That's
true.
a scary statement.
That is not true.
But I think
what is this?
You know what? It may be true.
It's really not.
You know what? Nobody
It's really
knows.
not. The
Nobody
president cannot pardon himself, everybody.
Well,
I really strongly believe that.
I know you think that.
I know that there are so many legal scholars out there that are saying
Actually,
he can't. Wait a second. I know that there are legal scholars out there that are saying that the president can pardon himself.
They're not saying he can. They say he may.
He may be able to. I think they need to go back to law
According
school
to-
because we learned
But wait a minute.
really, really early on that the president is not above the law and that the constitutional framers, when they were drafting the Constitution, remember they were rebelling against a monarchy. They were rebelling against a sovereign nation, and they wanted to do everything in their power to make sure that it wasn't a dictatorship.
When you pardon yourself, doesn't
Really
that
quick.
mean you're guilty?
But can I?
Yes,
that's
of course.
your theory.
So why does he keep saying I'm going to pardon
Can I
myself
but
if he's not
Go
guilty?
ahead. Go ahead, Megan.
Do it.
Going forward into midterms, if Democrats want to combat this, what Bill Maher said over the weekend I thought was genius. You've got to find something that fits on a hat in one way or another, because all of this that we're saying one way or another, it is not permeating.
He can't pardon himself.
He
Maybe
can't,
we
there
could
you
put
go.
that
He
on a
can't
hat.
pardon
Well,
himself.
Bernie Sanders had a whole thing, a slogan. Can I tell him what it is?
Sure.
The slogan was for the Democrats. Democrats are for the working man, not the billionaires. And I think that has, I like
fit on a
that.
hat. Fit on a hat.
Too long?
Sorry,
We're out.
Bernie.
We'll
Get
be
a
back.
bigger hat.
Welcome back. You know, a lot of people are wondering where the First Lady is these days. She dropped out of sight several weeks ago. They're saying we